Welcome back to Phase Zero, Season 2, Episode 33. If you're listening to us in the car in podcast form, drive safely. We love you for it. If you're watching us live on YouTube, continue enjoying all of our beautiful faces. We're about to be joined by one more. I'm BD. We got Aaron, Jenna, and Jamie here. And right now, we have a special guest joining us live. You may know him as Father Gordon in the Conjuring movies, Carl in the Insidious films. He's in the upcoming Netflix film We Have a Ghost, which also stars Anthony Mackie and David Arbor. He's appeared in House of Cards, HBO's Watchmen, and if you're like me, you best remember him as Reg Monroe from The Walking Dead, which was honestly peak Walking Dead, in my opinion. My humble little opinion here. But now you're going to know him as the H in GLK&H. Holden Holloway himself from She-Hulk. Mr. Steve Coulter is live on Phase Zero.
Oh my God. Your theme song just about gave me a stroke. I was sitting here in your illustrious green room, which is upstairs, and I happened to look down at my phone, looking into what is left of my life, and I heard this bum, bum, bum. I was like, holy crap. It's time to make the donuts. So.
That's right. We make sure the audience and the hosts stay awake.
That's a good idea.
We need it.
So if I just seem to drift off or I go off on a tangent, just play that theme song.
Wired. Back in. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Congrats on being a part of She-Hulk. Big part of today's episode. First of all, I want to start at the beginning of this journey for you. The casting process. I know different actors have different experiences when they join a Marvel show. I'd love to hear, did you know what the role was when you auditioned for it? And was it your first time auditioning for Marvel?
Yes, it was my first time auditioning for Marvel. The like a lot of shows and films now, they disguise the name of the character. It ended up being from the script from one of the episodes. He was called Nicholson, I think, and I remember I said in the audition that they'd asked for, and then I forgot about it a little bit. And then I was down, where was I? I had to go down, I was down in the Dominican Republic shooting a movie. Life is really hard as an actor. The middle of winter during the pandemic is like, I had to go and then I had to do a callback because they said, because I didn't know it was a comedy. And so I did it a little sort of heavier. And they said, well, no, think of it as it's going to be a comedy. Think of, they may have mentioned Ally McBeal or something. And then I think a day or so went by, and then I got a little thing saying, welcome to the Marvel Universe. So I was very tickled.
That's dude, getting a little thing that says welcome to the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
And a bag of money, too, which was neat. It was really kind of cool. It was like FedEx is like $350,000. I was like, okay, this is why people like being a Marvel. And then, wake up, Steve, you're having that bag of money dream again.
the old Marvel dump truck.
Yes, that old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut. Were you a big Marvel fan, whether it was comics or I know there's 100 movies now?
Yeah, I grew up as a kid. I was a huge Captain America fan, and as you may remember, well, you don't because you're like 12. There was actually I can't remember if it was a movie or TV show where it was way before any kind of special effects, whatever. And he had these little wings, these little plastic wings that went, and so the only way to see it was really the comic. And I had a Captain America coloring book, which was like I'm not exaggerating, a prized possession. I just spent hours coloring in it. So I was mainly Captain America and Spider-Man. Those were my two go-tos. I got them every way. I would ride my bike up through the prairie into town. We'd go into town with Paul, and and then and I'd get my comic books, and I'd usually get a Mad magazine too. And
did they have electricity yet? Was there?
We were very excited though. We'd go back home and read it by the fire.
Pretty cool.
Of course, I wasn't good at book reading, so Mama had to read to me.
I feel like I should just continue this line of questions, but we have to ask them other stuff. So when you got to the part of a script where you have to assign Jenna Case with Abomination,
Yes.
Did you go back and watch Incredible Hulk? Like,
Yes.
do you ask questions? Like, was it
Yeah,
connected
because
to her
I
family?
wasn't. I saw all those movies, but they didn't really. I don't think they stuck in anyone's mind too well. But I did. Yeah, I wanted to know exactly because I had to. The character had to know. Oh, I sound like Daniel Day-Lewis, like Junior Barton, Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, I had to go and watch a TV movie. It was very exhausting. But yeah, because I wanted to have an idea of. But actually, the Abomination stuff is actually pretty cool. So I did do my research. Should I just say yes or no instead of talking? Again, just
please.
play that theme song and I'll shut the hell up.
No,
We're here to listen to you.
We're here to listen to you.
Oh.
Yeah, you're the man of the hour here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well,
cool.
so-
Incredible Hulk is a slept on movie in my opinion.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, so going off of the topic of research, Holloway has his own very unique story in the comics. Like his granddaughter's a superhero and he gets like his identity stolen by a robot at one point.
Yeah.
Did you research that and have that in the back of your mind as you were filming this stuff, or did you just kind of go off of what was on the script?
No. I did. I did look up some of his history, and being an actor with an ego, I wanted to see what else happens to him, to see if because he has all sorts of little adventures. But I just did a kind of the same research I did for Walking Dead. I wanted to be familiar with it because sometimes you pick up little tidbits. And the fact that he had that history, he has an affinity. He's not just as was revealed in episode 2, spoiler, he does hire She-Hulk. Kind of, it's like cha-ching. But he does have a sympathy and an affection for that. And so that actually did help a little bit. So it's not just I hired her for this one reason. There's a little bit of a father-daughter kind of thing looking out for her. But mainly she's adding to the coffers of the law firm.
So you did some movie research, you did some comics research, but where does Holloway fall on the moral spectrum as a lawyer? Because he's a lawyer, and he was quick to accept the waiver on the conflict of interest and assign the Abomination case to Jen. How would you describe this guy from like a lawyer point of view?
He's a really good lawyer, and I have the expensive suits to prove it, which was like one of my favorite things about playing. Seriously, it was like, oh my God, you do walk differently in $1,000 suit or $2,000 suit. But yeah, I think he's a good guy. He has morals. He's gonna make decisions that'll affect the bottom line. In that sense, he's kind of gray area because she's a huge opportunity. And as you'll see as the show continues, I keep telling her and asking her to do stuff that she doesn't do, and she keeps doing stuff that messes things up. Because that financially, he's willing to bend stuff. I think morally, he won't. He's a good guy. So.
You used the term "really good lawyer," and I don't know if you saw Spider-Man: No Way Home, but there's a certain Marvel. One of the most famous Marvel lawyers the world has gotten to know so far is Daredevil, and we know he's coming to the show.
He's a really good lawyer.
Yeah, he is a really good lawyer. I know he's coming later in the show. What would Holloway think? Is that like competition? Did you get to meet Charlie Cox at all? Did you? I didn't.
I did not get to meet him, which is, that little fanboy. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I love that show so much. I'm actually just rewatched. I think it was the second season. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if he'd become. I don't think it'd be competition because he's not. You should see my office. And then Marvel built an entire. I think because we were shooting, still in COVID, and they didn't know if they could have, locations would be dependable because if they got shut down. So they basically built the entire 2-floor interior of the law firm, and with real working computers, and it was astounding. What was the question? So I don't think he would be. He would not be competition because he has that little office.
That's amazing. They really built it. Usually, everybody who goes into these probably expects green screen now. There
is a lot of green screen, but not that stuff. A lot is practical, and it's just and it makes it so easy. I walked into my office, and it is this. I'm not kidding. It's the size of almost the bottom floor of my house, and I don't have big house. It was just huge. And so all you have to do, you got your fancy suit, you got this huge office and a magnificent desk. It does a lot of the work for you. And it's really fun because you're playing dress up. And it's like, this is my office. They spared no expense. And yet what's kind of cool, I was expecting, it's Marvel and Disney, so you're expecting this maybe corporate atmosphere. I've done sort of big budgety stuff where it was like, there's a lot of producers from the studio, and that wasn't the case. It was really, I've done a lot of independent film. The spirit on set was like doing an independent film. The spontaneity and the fun, but it was just like an independent film with millions and millions of dollars. But
that old chestnut again.
Yes.
That's cool.
Well, in any of the many drawers of that delightful, all the desks and like when Nikki goes, look at all this glass. I'm like, that's me. I'm like, Jesus, look at all this glass on the walls. There's like some real money going on here. Did they give you any access to the secrets for like any of the scenes? Like how much did they let you in on? Like did they let you in on anything that wasn't?
There's a lot. You get mainly, this is except for probably Tatiana, you would get all your scenes for the upcoming episodes. And sometimes you get a whole script. So part of the fun, I was just out at the premiere and then we got to see the first 4 episodes. I didn't know what was in all the She-Hulk scenes. So it was just, as a fan, it was really kind of fun to see. Because they're under the Walking Dead was kind of, I got to see whole scripts on Walking Dead. A couple other things. I did Oppenheimer with Christopher Nolan, and they only let you see your scenes.
No big deal.
So they
just throw that out there.
Honey, was that good?
Hold on, I gotta pick this up. I gotta. It felt.
Excuse me. Yeah, I might have. Oh yeah. I work with. There's Matt Damon and Cillian Murphy. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh wait, Matthew Modine. Was he there? Yeah.
We don't have an hour in this podcast to list the Oppenheimer cast.
Yeah, you would. He was like, Soupy Sales and Sally Struthers. Paul Lynn actually is in it, which was weird, but so.
My next question actually was, which was more secretive out of Marvel and Walking Dead? But you kind of answered that for us.
Oh. See, I try to anticipate. Oh, which was more secretive? Oh,
yeah,
Marvel. Yeah. Marvel almost with Walking Dead, actors, you get a call sheet every, before each day. It has all the actors' names. And for Walking Dead, they had code names because that was this kind of the peak of the series. And people outside the set, like Alexandria, there were people camped out, with like telephoto lenses to see if Andrew Lincoln was in a bathrobe or had a beard or a derby or something. But they had code names for everyone's character. They didn't do that on She-Hulk. They had, Tatiana and the fabulous secret guest stars that you'll see later in the season. But I'd say Marvel's a lot more because we couldn't talk about it. Well, I guess, yeah. Well, they were both the same. I couldn't talk about it at all until a little bit when the trailer started. Yeah, they'll come to your house and take one of your pets. I think that's actually in my contract.
I was hearing you talk about how they built the office. Like I've been to the set, I've been to Alexandria, and for anybody who isn't familiar with Walking Dead, that is a full-on neighborhood that they built a fence around.
Absolutely.
And they built extra houses and they built the windmill event. Like that is a literal, it's all there.
Yeah, people live there. We were shooting the finale and it was at night and we had to stop because a FedEx truck came in and made a delivery, which was kind of odd in the Walking Dead universe. It's like, that might be a spinoff, actually. The Undead FedEx store.
That's great. Hold on, pause. We got delivery. Steve ordered a pop figure again. Uber Eats is here. Shut it down.
Jenna has a massive. I see behind her.
Yes.
In CNN they have books about Lincoln and stuff, but here it's an amazing collection you have.
Thank you so much.
Ogling it. So very
I appreciate that. Well, so you did mention Tatiana, and I did want to ask, what was it like working with her on set, like, just as Jen first and foremost, and then as She-Hulk?
It's gonna sound corny, but she is. I've been doing this for like 20, 30 years now, and hands down, she was the nicest human being I've worked with. And the show is told through her point of view, so she's in every scene. And never, long shoot schedule. We went from April to like August of last year. Never complained. Was so kind and so funny, and very kind to everyone. For someone just showing up for acting for a day or background people. A lot of actors kind of stick to themselves, but she was ridiculously nice. And also, she has to. Most of the scenes I'm working with her, she's in her She-Hulk thing, and so she either had to be in the motion capture suit. Or sometimes she would have this, and she talked about this head extension. It looks like a mannequin head on top of the weirdest hat you've ever seen, so that we could have the right eye line for her. And yet she still acts up a damn storm. And just ridiculously, genuinely kind. And never, like I said, never complained. And I'm sure, she's working 16-hour days for, almost half a year. So she's pretty great. Would you want to really know what she's like? No. It's ridiculous. And I had become, again, what's fun about being an actor, and I hope I don't ever lose this and become a jerk. Of course, you'll be the judge of that. We still got a few minutes to go. Is that, because you grow up watching movies and TV shows, and you get, like Walking Dead. I'd watched it from the very first episode, and I had been a big fan of Orphan Black, because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, who is this woman? And then getting to work with her is getting to play baseball with Derek Jeter or something like that. It's really fun.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So I want to preface this with, you don't have to say who, don't say who. The show is loaded with cameos, but did anything really excite you? Was there anybody who walked on set where you were like, oh,
yes.
Ooh, I love it.
Several times. There's a couple. Yes. You'll see. It's pretty cool.
All right.
Can't wait for that. So your character's launching a superhuman law division, which means a lot of heroes and villains could potentially come through. Yeah. Is there anyone who's not on the show that you would love to see come in and get represented?
The whole Marvel universe. I want Thor, and maybe if in some multi-universe, if Tony Stark and Iron Man could come back, Captain America, of course. I would love that. Even getting because Wong's on the show. Did I spoil that? Has he been on it yet?
He's in the trailer. You're okay.
You're safe.
So that was I was like, that's Wong. That's Wong. And he really does enter through actual sparks. That's not an effect. So it's kind of.
Now, I want to hear what it's like, because you've clearly met everybody on the She-Hulk show, or most people on She-Hulk. But you worked on We Have a Ghost, you worked on Oppenheimer, you've worked with Marvel actors elsewhere. And in those two projects alone, you got Downey, Mackie, Arbor, a few other people. Do you guys ever stop and swap secrets and give advice, talk about what it's like to be in the Marvel world?
I don't think so. No. I did with Anthony Mackie. My character in We Have a Ghost is the head of the CIA, and I kind of mess with him a lot. So I didn't really. Again, I'm going to sound like junior varsity Daniel Day-Lewis again. I didn't really talk to him apart from when I was the guy, because I like messing with him. Because his character is he's in the movie is great. He's very confident and full of himself, and my character comes right in and knocks him down. so he would have been, but a ton of things. I don't think so. I only had in We Have a Ghost. I only worked with David Harbour one day, because our characters don't really cross paths, and he was off doing stuff.
And then the family tree pulls everybody into Marvel. You spend too much time with Mackie, and you'll end up, having cigars and whiskey and learning everything.
He's so fun. Yeah, he's just talk about energy. He really keeps the energy up on his set. He's just so happy to be there, and that's really because part of it is we're not doing space research or finding cures for diseases. We're making movies and TV shows. So it's not, it's.
Hey, yeah, it's got to have fun with it because then we get to have fun with it too. We appreciate it.
It's supposed to be fun.
So as we let you go, we appreciate you joining Phase Zero. Is there one episode of the remaining 7 of She-Hulk that you're particularly excited for the world to get their eyes on?
Yes.
I can't think of a better way to end it than that, Steve.
There's actually a Marvel representative named Frank standing right here. Is that okay? Sorry.
I was wondering if that was like the Predator with those 3 dogs.
Did you see that?
Yeah. I just watched Prey, and I was like, that's crazy. They hired the Marvel snipers for a movie.
He keeps looking over at me going.
Well, Steve, listen, it's our absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome back anytime. Congratulations on being a part of it. Can't wait to see everything you got coming as well. When I was putting your resume together, which titles to rattle off at the top of the show, I was like, man, this guy's done it all. So I'm
just an old guy. I got nothing better to do. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys are very, very nice.
Like, you're too kind. You're too kind.
You know a little too much about Marvel. If I was your mom, I might say, you need to get outside and play today. So get some fresh air, get out of your room, and put down your action figures and go play.
No, I need to get paid.
It doesn't mean grown up suck. That's like,
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. You're free. If you close out the browser, we will no longer be able to see or hear you. We're going to chat a little bit more about She-Hulk after you leave. So you're free to go. We won't subject you to all of our Wolverine Easter eggs and the like. Thank you, man. I hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Bye.